She swore she would never trust a younger man again. Until her new gardener looked her in the eyes and said, "Give me 3 days, and I'll make you fall in love." She thought it was arrogance. She thought it was a joke. But what happened over the next 72 hours didn't just change her heart. It exposed the truth about pain, pride, and the one thing she had been running from since her divorce. And by the end of day 3, she wasn't the only one who had fallen. What would you do if the one person you swore you'd never fall for was the exact person your heart needed? After a painful divorce, Elena built walls no one could climb. She believed younger men were reckless, immature, temporary. Then a new gardener walked into her life, calm, confident, and completely unexpected. He didn't bring flowers. He didn't bring promises. He brought a challenge. "Give me 3 days," he said. 3 days, and I'll make you fall." She thought she was protecting her heart. She didn't realize she was about to rediscover it. This is a story about fear, healing, and the kind of love that grows when you least expect it. Elena had promised herself she would never date a younger man again. Not after her divorce. Not after being left for someone younger and more exciting. But the day she met Miles, the new gardener, that promise began to crumble. "Give me 3 days," he had said with calm confidence. 3 days, and I'll make you fall." She thought it was a joke. It wasn't. At 32, Elena Martinez had everything she once dreamed of. A successful real estate company, a beautiful home, financial security. But 8 months after her divorce, success felt empty. Her ex-husband had walked away without hesitation, and the wound had hardened into a wall around her heart. The roses in her garden were dying. The hedges were overgrown. She hadn't cared enough to fix them. Until Miles showed up. He arrived exactly at 9:30 a.m. Tall, well-built, calm, respectful. "Good morning. I'm Miles. I'll be taking care of your garden." There was something steady about him, something grounded. Elena told herself she didn't notice. But all morning she kept glancing out the window as he worked. There was a gentleness in the way he handled the plants, deliberate, patient, like he believed everything was worth saving. When her best friend Jessica saw him, she nearly pressed her face against the glass. "That man is gorgeous, and you're just going to ignore him?" "I don't date younger men," Elena replied. "They're all the same." Unfortunately, Miles heard that. Later that afternoon, he stepped inside to wash his hands and met her eyes. "You're wrong," he said simply. "Excuse me? I don't know your story, but I know hurt when I see it, and I see it in you." Elena crossed her arms defensively. "Give me 3 days," he said. "Not to date you, just to prove your assumptions aren't always right." She should have said no. Instead, she surprised herself. "Fine. 3 days." Day 1 passed with unexpected conversations. Miles showed her the roses he had trimmed. Tiny green shoots were already pushing through. "Sometimes," he said, "you just have to cut away what's dead so the living parts can breathe." She rolled her eyes at the metaphor, but it landed. He asked about her work, not her money, not her success, but what she loved about it. And for the first time in a long time, she found herself talking about passion instead of pain. That night, she couldn't stop thinking about him. Day 2 was harder. They worked side by side in the garden. Their hands brushed once, a small touch, but electric. He told her about his own past, how someone once left him because she wanted a man in a suit, not one with dirt on his hands. "I'd rather make less money doing something I love than be rich and empty," he said. That hit her harder than she expected. When he gently asked why she had really agreed to the 3 days, she finally admitted the truth. "Because part of me wanted to be wrong. I'm just scared." "Protecting yourself from pain by refusing to feel anything," he replied softly, "isn't living." She walked away before she cried. But the walls were cracking. Day 3 changed everything. Elena tried to stay inside, determined not to fall. Then she saw him outside carefully lifting a fallen bird's nest and placing it safely back into the tree. No audience, no performance, just quiet kindness. That's when she realized this wasn't a game. Before she could process it, the doorbell rang. Her ex-husband. He barged in, demanding papers, criticizing her, mocking Miles when he saw him through the window. "The help? That's who you're replacing me with?" Before Elena could respond, Miles stepped forward calmly. "She asked you to leave." There was no aggression, just strength. Her ex left, furious. And Elena finally broke. Months of buried pain poured out in tears. Miles didn't try to fix her. He just sat beside her. "You're not pathetic," he said quietly. "You loved deeply. That takes courage." Later, he showed her the corner of the garden he had been restoring. It was beautiful now, alive again. "Same goes for hearts," he said gently. That's when fear hit her. "Today's day 3, she whispered. "You're trying to win your bet." He looked genuinely confused. "Elena, this stopped being about a bet after day 1. Her breath caught. "I didn't mean make you fall for me," he said softly. "I meant fall for love again. But somewhere along the way, I fell too." Silence filled the space between them. "I want day 4, he added, "and day 5, and as many days as you'll give me." For the first time in 8 months, Elena chose bravery over fear. "I fell," she admitted, "not because you made me, but because you showed me who you are." He smiled, warm, patient. "So what now?" She stepped closer. No timelines, no bets, just us. When he kissed her, it was gentle, like everything he did. Not rushed, not forced, real. Weeks later, they sat together in the garden he had revived. The roses were blooming now. So was she. "Did I make you fall in 3 days?" he teased. "You made me fall," she smiled. "But I stayed fallen because you caught me." And as she looked around at the life growing all around them, Elena realized something important. Love isn't about age. It's about care. It's about someone who sees your broken pieces and stays anyway. Sometimes the most neglected gardens just need patience. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let yourself bloom again. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't falling in love. It's allowing yourself to feel again. Elena learned that healing doesn't happen when you build higher walls. It happens when someone patiently waits outside them. Love isn't about age. It isn't about status. It isn't about who looks better on paper. It's about who stays, who listens, who helps you bloom again when you've forgotten how. And maybe, just maybe, the right person doesn't come to fix you. They come to remind you that you were never broken. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because sometimes the world needs more stories about courage, kindness, and second chances. And remember, the most beautiful gardens grow after the harshest seasons.